The most dangerous thing controlling your life right now is not a person, not a system, and not bad luck. It is the noise inside your own skull, and you put it there. What nobody tells you is that the noise is not a side effect of your life. It is the product of something designed to keep you exactly where you are. There is a concept so old, it predates every self-help book ever written, every productivity system ever sold, every motivational speech ever clapped at. The ancient Taoists called it shu, receptive emptiness. And the reason you have never heard of it, the reason it gets buried under 10,000 pieces of content about hustle and optimization, is that you cannot sell emptiness. You cannot package it. You cannot put it in a course. It threatens the entire machine. So before I tell you what it is, you need to understand what it replaces, because what it replaces is something you have been doing your entire adult life, something you have been rewarded for, praised for, told is a virtue. Laozi wrote this 2,500 years ago in a text most people have heard of and almost nobody has read. 30 spokes converge on a hub, but it is the emptiness at the center that makes the wheel useful. Think about that for a second. Not metaphorically, literally. The thing that makes the wheel work is the whole, not the craftsmanship, not the material, the absence. Remove the empty center and you have a decoration. Beautiful, useless. Your mind is a wheel. Right now, most of yours has no hole. It is solid wood, and solid wood does not spin. The thoughts that loop at 3 a.m., the arguments you finish alone in the car, the plans you rebuild every week without executing once, the opinions, the reactions, the endless scorekeeping. You packed all of that in yourself. And then you wondered why you cannot think straight, why you feel slow, why every decision feels like lifting something heavier than it should be. That is not stress, that is congestion, and there is a difference that changes everything. I knew a guy named Mike. Sharp mind, relentless work ethic, a habit tracker on his phone, and a 5-year plan in his head at all times. On paper, he was the version of himself he had always wanted to be. We were on a rooftop one night, watching a storm come in off the water. No phones, no agenda, just the sky doing something worth watching. About 4 minutes in, Mike pulled his phone out, started scrolling. Nothing specific, just scrolling. I asked him what he was looking for. He put the phone down, looked at the storm, said, "I don't know, I just felt like I was missing something." He was not missing something out there. He had lost the ability to be inside a moment without immediately needing to produce something from it. The fullness had become automatic. Silence had become a problem to solve. That is not ambition. That is a man who has been colonized by his own mind. Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated samurai, also spent long periods of his life doing nothing, sitting in caves, walking through forests without purpose. His contemporaries thought he was wasting time. He was not. He was emptying the cup, keeping his mind clear enough to act when action was required, without the static of accumulated noise getting in the way. Remember what Musashi said, think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world, not humility, mechanics. A mind obsessed with its own narrative cannot read what is actually in front of it. Musashi understood this not as philosophy, but as a survival strategy. A cluttered head gets you killed. The Taoist philosopher Lizi put it a different way. He said the man who chases recognition builds himself a prison, and then spends every waking hour maintaining it, afraid of losing what the crowd gave him, working to keep the approval coming, performing even when nobody is watching because the habit runs so deep he has forgotten how to stop. Walter White from Breaking Bad is the clearest modern picture of this. The man was always thinking, always justifying, always narrating his own story back to himself. He had an answer for everything, a reason for every move, and none of it saved him because none of it was real perception. It was a man drowning in his own internal monologue, mistaking the noise for intelligence. He never once emptied the cup. Zhuangzi called it the fasting of the heart, Xinjai. And this is the part where most people expect a breathing exercise, a guided visualization, something soft and manageable. That is not what this is. Zhuangzi wrote, "Stop listening with your ears, stop listening with your mind. Listen with your spirit, because the ears stop at sound. The mind stops at recognition, at categorization, at the compulsive need to file every experience into a folder it already built. But the spirit, the empty part, waits. It does not grab, it receives. This is not passivity. A predator before the strike is not passive. It is pure, uncluttered presence. No noise between the eye and the target. In ancient Rome, Marcus Aurelius wrote something that points at the same truth from a different direction. You can only control what you think, not what happens around you. Once you truly get that, you'll feel stronger. But the Taoists went further. They said control is not the goal. Clarity is. You do not wrestle the thoughts into submission. You fast from them. You let the cup sit empty long enough that something real can pour in. There is a story Zhuangzi tells about an archer. The man could split targets effortlessly when nothing was at stake, put a gold prize at the end of the range, and his hands went wrong, not because his skill disappeared, because his mind filled up. Desire, fear of failure, self-image on the line. The noise crowded out the thing that actually works. Watch Sasuke in his coldest moments in Naruto. The scenes where he is most dangerous are the scenes where he shows the least. No rage, no performance, no noise, just clean, total intention with nothing in the way. The animators understood something most people miss. The emptiness is not absence of power. It is where the power actually lives. The filled mind is predictable. It reacts. It performs. It loops. The empty mind perceives what is actually there and then moves. That distinction, that gap between reaction and perception, is where every meaningful decision in your life is going to be made. Here is what nobody building the attention economy wants you to figure out. An overwhelmed man is an obedient man. He is too flooded to question what is happening around him, too reactive to build anything that lasts, too full to see the gap between what he is told to want and what he actually needs. The modern world is not broken. It is working exactly as designed. Every notification, every outrage cycle, every piece of content engineered to trigger a response, it is all filling your cup on purpose. Because an empty cup is a free cup, and a free man is much harder to direct. The Taoists saw this trap from 2 millennia away. They did not have algorithms. They had observation, and what they observed was that the most dangerous thing you could do to a man is convince him that his noise is his strength. So here is the thing. You do not need more. Not more information, not more identity, not more frameworks for optimizing your already overcrowded inner life. You need the discipline to sit in silence long enough to feel what is actually there, not the version of you that performs for an audience, not the version grinding for approval that was never going to satisfy anyway. The version underneath all of that, the one that exists before the noise starts every morning, that is the version capable of serious, lasting, real damage in this world. The wheel needs the hole to spin. Clear the cup. Thank you for watching. If you want to see the content YouTube and the mainstream won't show you, check out my Patreon or free newsletter. For actionable steps to build a better version of yourself, grab one of my ebooks. All links are in the description. See you in the next one.